The ABS Stat is a site where you can find, collect and export data out and then manipulate it for your purposes. In this assessment task, you are going to collect the data, put it in the form that you want, and then produce a data visualization. So if we think about last week, we looked at the social statistics, the health, the apparent consumption of alcohol, and we looked at the beer available for consumption. And that gave us this graph here. Now, it has a lot more than what we want, so we can customize it a bit. And the first thing I'm going to do is change the strength of beer. And we don't want the low alcohol, we don't want the other alcohol, and we don't want the total beer. So if we have a look at the data now, that's just reduced the number of beers that we have, which is what we want. We want to look at the 3 beers: low strength, mid strength, and full strength. Okay, so now what we can do is export that as an Excel file. So we do that. And we don't worry about the flags, just export to XLS file. That is now there. Now we'll just open that. And you'll get that message if the file is corrupt. Then we're having a few issues here. Okay. So close that. And we should have our file that's come down. So we'll just get that. Okay, here's our exported file. We need to click the enable editing so we can actually do some changing here. This is all good, except that we only want to know what happened on 2001 and 2014, which is a little lower down here. So we need to get rid of all of the rest. Now we're talking about volume of the beverages. So let's have a look. We'll get rid of all of these because we don't need those. So we can just delete all those rows and delete. And we only need 2001 and 2014. Now when we do that, it's going to remove that volume of beverage and we can get that back. We can just type that in. Delete. Alright, we delete all these. There we go. We can remove this stuff. And there's a bit on the top, I think, too, which we'll get rid of. Alright, so what I've got now is our per capita this one's total consumption and this one's per capita. So we can have a look at each one of them or simply just one. So what we'll do is we'll look at the total. So if we just have a look here. When we have a look at this, we want per capita or total apparent consumption. So we want to look at the total consumption. So we can actually delete these 3 rows. We're not worried about per capita. Or should we? No, we'll get rid of it. So we can delete these, and that gives us the total consumption of alcohol. So let's have a look if we graph this. So all we need to do is select this whole thing, and then we go to, actually we won't select the whole thing, we'll just select, and we can't do anything else, so we'll select that. We insert and a chart. Now we want the charts next to each other, not around, so that will do. So click that, and there is our data visualization. We've got the low strength beer, the mid strength beer, the full strength beer. We haven't got a chart title, so what is our chart title? It's the total apparent consumption of beer in Australia. You see how I've got a descriptive heading? That's really important. You need to make sure that there's plenty of clarity. What's this in? This is in litres, so you need to have an indication that this is in litres. What you can do with this one is we can actually put a label on the y-axis, and we need to indicate about what that's in, so we can put a bracket just to indicate that it's measured in litres. And there we have our data visualization. We then need to explain why there could be a difference between low strength in 2001 and low strength in 2014. There's been a big drop off, where there's also been a significant increase in mid-strength beer, and there's been a slight decrease in full-strength beer. So the sorts of analysis we talked about in class was that it's possible that the breath testing campaign for alcohol in driving has meant that people are drinking a little less full-strength beer. But it wouldn't explain the difference between the low-strength beer and the mid-strength beer. Now, asking a few of you on last week, there was an indication that the taste of the mid-strength beer is better than the low-strength beer, and that would perhaps be a good explanation of why low-strength beer hasn't really changed much. In fact, it's gone a bit less, where mid-strength beer has really taken off. In fact, your low-strength beer has dropped dramatically, where your mid-strength beer has increased significantly. So this is the sort of thing we're talking about. A data visualization, you need to clearly indicate what's happened by your graphics and your labeling on the visualization, and then you need to explain what the figures actually are telling us. And you'll need to come up with some conclusions yourself. Now, just a reminder that the task that you've been asked to do, I'll just close this one, the task that you've been asked to do is going to be found under transport, and have a look on there. Now, this site is only available to the 28th of November, but that will give us time to get the data we need, and then you manipulate it into a data visualization. Okay, well, good luck with that, and I hope this one helps.